See him a beast when he hear that sound like yeah, beat on the beat when he hear that sound like woo. Yeah, bitch and the champ only need one round like ha. Yeah, me, I'm a G-Ring, he in the sound like.
Fighting at UFC Vegas 77, already 77, on July 15th. Here she is, Chelsea Chandler. Chelsea, how are you doing? Thank you so much for joining me.
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Of course. And I think tomorrow is 2 weeks out exactly from the fight. That being said, how's the energy? You excited for your second fight with the promotion?
Yeah, I'm so excited and I'm extremely prepared. It's been a long 7, 8 months of training, and I expect to come in there a completely different person than I was my last fight.
I've seen on Instagram you've been very busy. You're at where? Gracie, Pleasant Hill, and then FC Boxing?
Yep, in Stockton, yeah.
Yeah, and just for those who don't know, kind of tell us who you're training with, who are your coaches, how's camp been?
Camp's been great. My head coach is Victor Galden. He trained with Nick and Nate for 20 plus years.
Yep.
He's a black belt in Sambo, black belt in Jiu-Jitsu, and he kind of ties everything together. My boxing coach is Felipe Martinez. Kickboxing, Gabe, Big Boss Muay Thai. And then I've got Cesar Gracie. I'm training in his gym too with Footlock Sean, Guga, and a few other black belts. And then I'm doing strength and conditioning up in Sac. So I'm just running around like a chicken with my head cut off. But I plan on being extremely prepared for this fight. And I feel like I'm in the best shape of my life.
Out of all those killers you just mentioned, who's coming with you to be in the corner?
I'm going to have Victor Galden, Felipe Martinez, and Big Boss Muay Thai.
So obviously out of Stockton, I don't know, this is me as a fan speaking. Do you think it would be possible for you to bring the first ever Stockton slap to women's MMA? Pretty cool.
It's kind of funny you ask. A while back when I was training, I open palmed a girl in training and I dropped her. So, I mean, I hope so. I mean, it'd be nice to throw into a fight one of these days, and I practice it. It sets up a lot of my right hand, my left hand, but my coach calls it right because it's the straight.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I always use it. So yeah, it'll come in handy one of these days.
When I see it happen, I'll be on the couch pointing at TV like, oh, there it is. And big opportunity to do something crazy like that in 2 weeks. Norma Dumont, number 13 in the bantamweight rankings. What are your thoughts on her? How did this fight come to be?
Well, this fight came to be, I was supposed to originally face her in April, and then I think they offered her Carol Rosa or something. And then I shortly got ranked right after that. And then I was pushing for the fight. I was like, no, I want to fight Norma at 145 pounds. And then she went and beat Carol Rosa, who's I think number 9.
Yeah.
And then they gave her a quick turnaround, and here we are. I asked for this fight. Norma's great. She's fought the who's who of the 45-pound division, and she's done a lot of work. So I'm excited to go in there and take all of everything she's done and take it, for myself. So.
And something I've noticed is you're very much so a finisher. The majority of your fights have been won by finish. And Norma, she has 2 finishes, but very decision heavy. She wins a lot of close split decisions. That being said, your styles, do you think you're going to be able to find that finish before she's able to use experience to get the decision?
Yeah, I mean, you could say, people say, oh, because she's got more fights than me, she has more experience. But honestly, I've been training just as long as her, and I've trained with the best in the world. I've trained with Leslie Smith. I've trained with the Diaz brothers. I trained with Victor, and I've trained with some of the best fighters in the world. So when I go in there, I really don't think, oh, she's better than me because she has more fights. Honestly, she just might have had more fights in the UFC, but at the end of the day, I think my skill set is there and above hers. And I definitely think that I have 15 minutes to finish her, and I'm planning on getting a finish.
And you take her ranking here, assumingly so, number 13. Maybe they even bump you up number 12. Who knows? Is there anybody in the ranking specifically that you would like to fight next?
Well, honestly, Norma, her fights are kind of boring, and she should be ranked, I guess, 9 since she beat Carol Rosa, and they kind of watched that fight. She got dropped in the last round, and then I think the media was like, you know what, she didn't really win that fight. Let's just keep her where she's at. So if I go in there and, I do a real dominant finish, I think that I'll be ranked above Carol Rosa, who's fighting this weekend. So if she beats number 6, Yana, I could be ranked in the top 5 or 6 with just this fight. So there's a lot of options, and a lot of doors that open coming with this victory. I mean, even Jermaine Durandame, she's just coming back from having a baby, and she was the first title holder at 45. So I think even that fight's a possibility. She choked out Pena. So I mean, in the talk of who deserves a fight, I think that would be a great fight for the 45 title. And then also I was hearing some chit chat of like Ronda coming back. So even that's a great fight, at 45. And what is she going to do? She's not going to say no to me. So on paper, it looks like a great fight for her to come back to. So I got options. I just got to go out there, do business, and kill this chick. And I think all the doors will open up.
And let me ask you about that, because you keep mentioning 145, and the talk on the street is like UFC's kind of done with 145. Have you gotten any impression either way with that?
So, they're done because you got people like Norma who's going out there and pitter-pattering for 15 minutes and she's boring, and then most of the other girls, they just don't look the part. They look like they're lazy and they're just being lazy and not cutting to 35. So I think they just want someone that's going to come out there and, kick butt and do the talking and build up the division. So I think if I do what I got to do, the doors will open.
So that's kind of like your personal goal, is to reignite that featherweight division now with Amanda gone?
I definitely think I can, and I have the power behind my hands to do that. And when people say, oh, Amanda's gone, like a lot of people come back for retirement. There's just nobody that's really doing anything to make her want to train. So she's always there too. There's a lot of options.
I don't really believe for a second that Amanda doesn't fight one more time at least.
She will. She will.
Yeah. And how many fights would you like to get in 2023 if everything goes well and you stay healthy?
Oh man. Well, I was gonna probably ask for like a title fight in September, October, so just depends on how this fight goes. I'm ready, and if it was at 45, I can cut real often. It's not a real bad weight cut for me. But cutting to 35 is like 2 times a year. It's real hard, and then you see these girls like this, they come out and they just don't even look like themselves. Even Irene Aldana, she didn't even look like herself. I think because she just had a bad weight cut maybe. So, I mean, fighting at 45 is healthier, but I'm not going to close the door on 35, so we'll see.
And I mean, even in like PFL with the closing of the lightweight division, you're seeing, Pacheco missing weight at 145. And I know you train with Aspen Ladd. She's been having to deal with that weight cut for years too. So I would love for the UFC to keep featherweight around, maybe even bring in an atom weight. Like there's so many fighters. Why not showcase them all,
Yeah, we just need someone, Ronda brought the bantamweight division, by storm. And we just need someone at 45 to do that. So I can be that person.
Well, you already put the spark in motion on October 1st last year. So July 15th, I hope it keeps going. And as we're kind of talking about, Amanda did just retire. Obviously, that's been all over the headlines. What are your thoughts on Amanda as a fighter? Like, do you take a lot of inspiration from her, or was that just a fight you wanted that kind of seemingly got away?
No, I mean, I don't say it got away, but I love the Kat Zingano fight when Kat, just beat her ass. And I feel like, honestly, Amanda was overrated. She hits hard, her and Cyborg got into like a firefight. And when you get into a firefight, it's honestly whoever's going to connect first with these little gloves. There's really no forgiveness when you get hit with them. It doesn't matter who's punching you, how hard they punch you. If they land, you can get hurt. And then, I mean, you saw this last fight, she fought Irina, and she kind of looked like 50-50. And a lot of the people that she's fought recently were scared of her, and you could tell. Yeah. So they're coming out there, and she feels comfortable. She's going out there doing whatever she wants because they're just scared. So I know I wouldn't be scared of her, and I would definitely push forward on her, take her down, and do kind of what Kat Zingano did, and just drain her energy level, which I think is the game plan to beat her.
I mean, Amanda also has been fighting the same people for a long time, and none of them are like a young, hot prospect like yourself. So I would love to see your name get into the shuffle and start shaking things up. And do you actually think with one win on the 15th in dominant fashion, you really could be in that title picture?
I do, because I mean, go back and watch the Carol Rosa and Norma Dumont fight and listen to the commentators. They were already saying, "Oh, winner gets a title shot," and that fight sucked. So I go out there and I do what I got to do. They're gonna have no choice but to talk about it. So, but right now I'm focused on beating her, and that's really all my mind is. But I can see a lot of doors opening if I come out the victor on July 15th.
And I briefly touched on this earlier. October 1st, 2022, it was. You got that UFC debut win, round 1 TKO. What did that do for your confidence? I never talked to you before, but I love your personality. You're very confident, but not in like a braggadocious way. You're humble, and it's just you're calling your shots. I like that. So did that win do that for you, or have you always been like this?
I mean, go watch my other interviews. I've always been real confident in my skills. I train with the best, and I train really hard. And at the end of the day, the only person that can beat me is myself. So I push myself in every training session, and having the training partners that I have is what gives me the confidence.
And my last question, this is not fight related. This is something I saw on your Instagram. You're a big hunter. Love that. I hunt and fish too. However, up here in Pennsylvania, we don't have couple 100-pound wild boar running around. So tell me a little bit about wild boar hunting, because that's crazy. That's so badass.
It was cool. And actually, it came up real spur of the moment. I got the call kind of like that morning, like, "Hey, you want to go boar hunting?" So I was like, "Yeah, let's go." And they were like, "Oh, we're probably not going to see anything." And then here I'm thinking, I'm like, "No, I'm going to get lucky. We're going to see something." I'm always hoping to have the good luck. And we were out there. We were out on this island, and we were driving, and I look out, and I'm like, "Is that like a horse?" This thing was huge.
They're
This
huge.
thing's about 500 yards out. It's pretty far out, and I'm a pretty good shot. So I see this thing, and I'm like, "Is that a horse?" So we pull over, we look, and we're like, "No, that's not a horse. That's a boar." So we got out. We walked about 50 yards, and I shot it. And then it was nice. I hit this thing 4 times, okay, in all good spots.
Yeah.
So I shot it, and it starts coming towards us, because like I'm thinking 500 yards, man, I don't really want to drag this thing that far. So I shot it, and it takes a V line towards us, which was great. So he's coming straight at us, and I shoot him like 3 more times, and he drops like maybe 60 yards from us. So it was like the luckiest day ever. It was so great. I've been back out there, and I haven't really seen anything that big or, ready to go. So I was pretty happy with it. And then I'm having it taxidermied. So they're going to do like a full mount. Yeah. And when he was cutting it and doing all that stuff, he said that because they have chest plates that kind of protect them when they're fighting, that the bullets were like two of them were like stuck inside the chest plate. They didn't even pierce this thing, which is crazy, right? So yeah, I was pretty lucky, and I was real happy with that. So
People don't understand, unless you've seen one in person or like pay attention to hunting, they don't understand how big wild boars are. They're like a horse, like you said. It's not like a little piggy running around. They're huge.
And they're mean. They're not nice. Like he probably turned towards us like, "What did you just do? You just flicked me. I'm going to come get you." And they will charge you, and they will kill you. And you got to make sure your gun is on, and you don't like freak out under pressure when something's charging you.
Now, did you have anything done with that meat? I'm just curious, like, or did you just have it mounted?
Oh yeah, no. So the taxidermist, I was gonna keep the meat, but the taxidermist was like, "Hey, I got this butcher shop. I really want the meat." So we kind of came to an agreement. He kept the meat. He's doing the taxidermy, so it worked out. But I do like boar. It's good.
I haven't had boar since I was like a very little kid, so I was
Yeah.
just curious to know how it was. So that's awesome. Killing wild boars and beating up Norma Dumont. Good time. And Chelsea, before we get out of here, with all the eyes on you as a prospect and on this fight, I just want to give you the opportunity. Is there anything you would like to say to all your fans? If so, the mic is yours. Take it away.
Yeah, I'm excited to be fighting July 15th against Norma Dumont. Tune in. It'll be on the main card for UFC Fight Night 77. And then I just want to thank my coaches, Felipe Martinez, Victor Galden, Big Boss Muay Thai, Cesar Gracie, Game Fit in Sacramento, Footlock Sean, and everybody else that's helping me prepare for this fight.
Tune in, ladies and gentlemen, July 15th, ESPN Plus. It's probably the last time you're going to be able to watch Chelsea Chandler for free, not on a pay-per-view and inside the Apex. So, Chelsea, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Best of luck on the 15th, and When you get that W, we'll talk again, okay?
Cool. Thank you.